my vacation, and I couldn't imagine being happier than we had that walk with a huge turnout. I mean, it was just amazing. And any of you that walked, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. It was really so tearful just watching everybody be on the walk for all the right reasons, because everybody knows how terrible this autism epidemic is and how it's taking our children into the darkness. I mean, here in your school system, I think, Nina, you've identified 15 with autism, and those 15 children have at least in their orbit another 20 people that are affected by autism. I know how it's affected my entire family. It's really quite devastating to get them all the right treatments and practices that they need.
How many people here have familiarity with applied behavior analysis? Okay, all right, about half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk with you today about applied behavior analysis and really how applied behavior analysis is something that can fit in to a multidisciplinary model. So applied behavior analysis is very good because we change what we're doing. We don't say we know what we're doing, because that would be a lie. When you work with children with autism, nobody knows what they're doing. And that's the important part, that we have no idea. We're going in there and we're willing to give it a really good shot. We know the kinds of things that work. It works if we're really reinforcing, if we break things down, and if we persist. It works. But the first attempt doesn't usually work. Applied behavior analysis is taught intensively. Oh, one more thing about applied behavior analysis. I'm sort of trying to cram a lot into a half an hour. But in terms of applied behavior analysis, we want to teach things that are meaningful to the child. And that's something I think gets lost in a lot of ABA. People think ABA is just about sitting at the table and touching your head. That's a meaningless skill. Old ABA used to be a block trial of 10. And you would sit there opposite the kid, knee to knee, and you would say, do this! And the child would touch their head. And you would say, yay! Or you would give them a treat. I'm very anti-food reinforcer, so no treats. So ABA should not be about that. It should be about using the techniques of applied behavior analysis, which are very powerful techniques, but using them to teach the things that the children need to do every day. We don't do a 10-block trial. Because after a few times of doing this, the child is going to know what to do. They're not even going to listen to your language. Our goal is to get them to listen to our language, and for us to help them adapt to the natural environment. That's our goal.
I now would like to introduce Dr. Ann Densmore. We're very fortunate to have Dr. Ann with us today. For more than 30 years, she has served as a speech and language consultant for private and public schools. She has overseen staff development for teachers who have students with special needs and has educated them in speech therapy techniques and services benefiting autistic individuals. Ann is the author of a book called, here it is, you're going to show it like they do on television, Helping Children with Autism Become More Social, 76 Ways to Use Narrative Play. So I'd like to have you welcome Dr. Ann Densmore.
You'll like my film. I'm not a filmmaker, but I made a rough cut, they call it in the filmmaking world, and it'll teach you about how you use a play-based therapy approach. And believe it or not, I work with people like Ivy, and I love to work with ABA therapists, but I teach from a play-based method.
Then we went to the Ed Council. The Ed Council is 65 years old. That's Smokey the Bear, drinking and driving, all of those public service announcements that you see. In the 65 years that they've had the Ed Council, they have never taken on a single disease. When we sat with them on Madison Avenue and told them what was going on, they signed on immediately, and BBD&O does our ads. They are amazing. We're coming up to, I want to make sure I have the right number here. We're coming up to, because it's been so successful, $47 million in donated media in the first 9 months, making us the second best performing campaign in the Ad Council's portfolio. Only one ahead of us is the Internet Predator. It's really been amazing. Awareness has been up 14 percentage points compared to the most, with 57% of the parents say that are hearing more about